What if Beerus fought the strongest anime characters to ever exist? Would Beerus destroy them all? Or would his Hakai be useless when used against the likes of Mob, Gojo, Anos, Voldigoad, or even Light Yagami himself? Fight number 1. Light Yagami. You see, while Light Yagami is a self-proclaimed god in the Death Note anime, he would take an L if he fought Beerus. Let's assume Beerus would even give Light the chance to use his Death Note. It would have no effect whatsoever on Beerus. The first rule of the Death Note clearly states, the human whose name is written in the note shall die. First of all, Beerus ain't no human. Secondly, who'd stop Beerus from breaking every bone in Light's body after the Death Note proves useless? Ryuk? This guy? Yeah, Ryuk is immortal and all, but it doesn't have the combat ability, speed, or intelligence to rival Beerus. Stay with me, because while Light Yagami and Ryuk wouldn't stand a chance against Beerus, these next characters just might. You're about to find out what characters will come out victorious when pitted against the god of destruction from the world of Dragon Ball, like the Doomsday Titan of Attack on Titan. Fight number 2, Eren Yeager. See, I think Eren Yeager in his final form might just be able to hold his own down against Beerus, but for how long? Eren's Doomsday Titan has the ability to create an infinite number of 9 Titans, each with their own special ability from its body, and impressively, control the future and past through memories. I mean, his ability to control what he does in the past would prove handy against Beerus, because he would learn and know what to do to avoid getting obliterated by him. This would go on for, well, a few minutes, before Beerus would use Hakai to erase Eren from existence in every timeline, meaning game over for Eren. But I can't say the same for Anos Voldigoad, the strongest character in the Misfit of Demon King Academy. Fight number 3, Anos Voldigoad. Because Beerus would get cooked. We're talking about the reincarnation of the King of Demons who can literally do anything. Stopping time isn't even enough to stop him from moving. This is a guy who wields Venus Douma, a sword capable of annihilating anything, regardless of how tough, eternal, or infinite it is. It can even destroy reason itself. Venus Douma can undermine the immortality of gods and prevent their regeneration. And that's not all Anos Voldigoad is capable of. He can manipulate reality with his magic eyes, move the moon with his insane physical strength, and resist powers that erase existence. So if Beerus used Hakai to wipe him out from existence, Voldigoad would just resist it. Even if Beerus used Ki Blast or God of Destruction's Wrath to eventually land lethal blows on Voldigoad, the closer Voldigoad would get to being destroyed, the more powers Voldigoad would get to wipe out Beerus. If Beerus managed to survive these powers, Voldigoad will pull out Venus Douma, and with one super fast slice, put an end to Beerus. Safe to say, Beerus might not even make it past Anos Voldigoad's Riz, but he would make it past the Riz of Jujutsu Kaisen's strongest character. Fight number 4, Gojo. Gojo Satoru's limitless in an ability that manipulates the space around Gojo, making it impossible for an opponent to land a hit on him. And if that isn't crazy enough, Gojo can keep this ability up forever, even in his sleep. This ability is also the foundation for his most powerful techniques, Six Eyes, Unlimited Void, and a Hollow Technique, Purple. But you see, Beerus is superior to Infinite Zamasu and SSB Goku, who can bypass the limitation of space-time, which proves that Beerus has a higher dimensional strength. And higher dimensional strength can destroy infinite size or lower dimensions, meaning Beerus' attack would bypass the infinite space separated by Gojo's infinity barrier. Even if Gojo's infinity barrier would stop Beerus from making contact with him, Beerus would still be able to erase Gojo out of existence without the need to contact him, because Beerus' Hakai does not require Beerus to actually contact their opponent. Gojo would have a 10% chance to win if he used Unlimited Void and Hollow Technique Purple on Beerus, but Beerus is just too fast to get caught by Gojo's Domain or Hollow Purple. If these two fought, Gojo would lose. But would an ultra-powerful psychic who can destroy anyone or anything with a simple thought win? Fight number 5, Mob. That's right, I'm talking about Kageyama Shigeo, aka Mob, from Mob Psycho. The ability to use telekinesis, pyrokinesis, astral projection, chlorokinesis, and more. His powers are so intense that he has to shackle his emotions to keep them from running wild. In his unknown state, Mob wields powers that are on the same level with large-scale natural disasters. Not only does the nature of his abilities make them impossible to guard against, but the strength behind him is also so great that even the strongest psychics in his world bow beneath them. If Mob's special state is strong enough to paralyze Beerus, then Mob would win this fight, because a paralyzed Beerus Beerus would be unable to use any of his powers. Mob would then have to release all his killer attacks to end Beerus before Beerus would break free from the psychic paralysis and use Hakai on him. But you see, Beerus is not of Mob's world, meaning that Mob's special state wouldn't be strong enough to hold Beerus down, and a simple finger flick to Mob's forehead, a ki blast, and a Hakai should do the trick. Another reason Mob would lose is because he would want to show compassion on Beerus, just like he does his opponents. Fight number 6, Kaguya Otsutsuki. But what would happen if Beerus fought the most ruthless and powerful villain in Naruto, Kaguya Otsutsuki? Kaguya is capable of destroying an entire solar system once she absorbs the chakra of the entire planet when she's at full strength. But she's going against Beerus, who can casually destroy an entire universe with just a fraction of his power if he was in the mood. And we haven't even gotten to see what he can do at full strength. Here's how I imagine the fight would go down. Kaguya would launch a series of attacks at Beerus, starting with all-killing Ash Bones, followed by Vacuum Fists. Beerus would effortlessly dodge these attacks. Kaguya would then attempt to end the fight with Expansive Truth-Seeking Ball, but Beerus would blitz her at a speed faster than light, and the last thing she'd hear before disintegrating into oblivion is Hakai. Beerus wins. Fight number 7, Yhwach. But would he win if he went up against the final boss in Bleach, Yhwach? Yhwach's ability, Almighty, not only allows him to look into the future, but also gives him the power to alter the outcomes of that future. Yhwach can easily defeat any opponent simply by changing the outcome of what he's seen in the future and altering it to be his desirable outcome. This ability would make him a worthy opponent for Beerus. Yhwach would use Almighty so Beerus doesn't use Hakai in the first place. And considering the fact that Yhwach can rewrite the future, so the stuff that he does are permanent, technically he would be able to rewrite the future permanently so Beerus wouldn't use Hakai at all. But even though Yhwach would see the future, disable Beerus' attacks, and even destroy Beerus' soul, it wouldn't help much against Beerus because Beerus is far stronger, faster, and more durable. You see, Yhwach can alter the future, but there wouldn't be a future where he beats Beerus. So this fight would either linger for eternity, leading to a draw, or Beerus would end it with a Hakai once Yhwach lets his guard down. My money is on Beerus winning. Fight number 8, Luffy Joy Boy. But I wouldn't put my money on Luffy, because even though Luffy at his strongest form can alter the reality around him, there's no move or technique he can perform that would save him from Hakai. Even though Luffy would dodge the Hakai attack, which is close to impossible, and annoy the hell out of Beerus, Beerus would just destroy the planet with a sneeze, ending Luffy in the process. Fight number 9, Sailor Moon. So far, Beerus has either ended all characters or had a hard time before he lost. But what if I told you there was a character that Beerus wouldn't stand a chance against? I'm talking about Usagi Tsukino, Grand Protector of the Cosmos. Sailor Moon is a powerful, omnipotent, night omniscient, immortal reality warper who can seal entire planets and everyone on it out of existence. She's immune to reality warping, sealing, mind control, possession, and absorption. She also possesses incredible durability, regeneration, and immortality. Even if Beerus managed to bypass her immeasurable speeds, durability, and reality warping, how would he end her? See, Usagi is literally an immortal who would just keep coming back. She can't be sealed, possessed, controlled, corrupted, or manipulated. She's basically resistant to magic and existence erasure, which means Hakai is useless against her. Usagi Tsukino is the inheritor of the power of the Cauldron, which can erase anything it touches from existence, even Sailor Crystals. Her ultimate power can destroy chaos, a non-existent entity, and the entire Cauldron, a four-dimensional structure linked to another part of the space-time continuum. There is nothing Beerus would do to stop or kill Sailor Moon, but she has a lot of ways to deal with him. She would use her strong sealing abilities to trap him inside her crystal. Beerus does not have teleportation or portal creation abilities which he would use, but even if he did, it wouldn't work. Sailor Moon wins this fight easily. Fight number 10, Saitama. But what then would happen if Beerus went against the strongest human being in the entire anime multiverse, Saitama? If you want to see the outcome of this battle, then check out the video on your screen where I give an in-depth analysis of who would win the battle. Come on, click it.